Hello everyone, welcome back to Unicorn Dust Designs. Today I am taking you through Antique Farmhouse. If you all have not visited this website, get ready to go down the rabbit hole. Their decor is absolutely stunning. It's high end and it is definitely my style. But today I wanted to show you how to take some thrifted items, even some Dollar Tree items, and dupe some of the things that I found here that caught my eye. First off, we are going to go in with these books. Now, I did not realize they were boxes, but I do have a video showing you how to create boxes with books. So I will leave that linked up above right here and in the description box. So I found these books for 50 cents at a garage sale this last summer. If you are new to my channel, I love vintage books, so I would never ever harm a vintage books. But these books were good to go. So I am taking some leftover white linen from the JRV Cottage Colors. And I ended up, after the second coat, I was like, this is not working. It's not giving me the coverage that I want, and it looks kind of streaky. So I decided to go in with White Swan, which is my clay-based paint. And there is a reason why it's so pigmented and it gives you so much full coverage, because all I needed was one coat and I was good to go. But isn't it crazy, y'all? Look at the difference. The white linen is like a stark white, and then you see the White Swan, and I was like, I thought White Swan was like stark white, but it is not. So I am going to stipple our White Swan on. I am someone that does not like brush strokes, so this is my way of ensuring that I do not get any in my paint finish. Don't forget as well, when you are doing books, to do the inside lip of that book as well, because it will show. Now that we're done, I'm going to take China blue, China blue, and we're going to dip into the birds and bees stamp. Now, I don't have these in stock right now, you guys, but I did order them and they should be coming by the end of the week. So in our dupe books, each book had a different pattern on them, and one of them were birds. So these are much larger than the birds that are on our dupe ones, but we're going to make it work. So whatever I do on the front side of the book, I am just going to mimic on the back side of the book and just go back and forth, but I will not, show you that. But look at that detail. Oh my gosh. The stamps are worth the investment, y'all. They're going to last you forever. So we're going to go in with a second bird. Now, I love this stamp set because I love the like branches on these, because I can use them in multiple ways. So for this book, I needed to fill all of that blank space. So I just got the branches and like the little leaves from this one stamp that I used on the bottom, and I am going to continue to fill the book up. Now, just like the dupe, we need to pay attention to that inside lip. It's all about the details. So I am going to grab that same stamp and I'm going to start stamping on the inside lip. It is like, for me, I love the little details like this, and I personally pay attention to them. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we carried that aspect of the dupe into our books. And of course, we can't forget our binding. You could put lettering on this if you want. I decided to just go with the stamp that we were using. For our second book, we are going to use rural scenes. This is not something that I have in stock. If you guys are interested in it, let me know and I could definitely add it to my next order. This almost exactly matches the dupe book. So all I'm going to do is grab different aspects of this stamp. It comes with 2 sheets, and I'm just going to fill this book up. You could see there's people on there, a windmill, trees. I'm going to put some animals, and then of course whatever I did to the front, I did to the back, And then I also made sure to get the spine of the book as well. I do clear these with clear wax by DIY, but I did them in bulk, like all the DIYs at once, so you won't see it until the end. But this is how beautiful these turned out, you guys. I love, love, love these. I even thought about painting the pages gold, but I stopped myself. I was like, you're doing too much, girl. But I love how these turned out. And again, I did not realize when I found them that they were boxes, but I have created like the little boxes out of books before. So I will leave that in the description box if you actually want to turn them into boxes. And this is what the dupe looks like on the bottom right for $39. And we created 2 out of the 3 for $3, which I think is an absolute steal. And I have for you is this lamp display riser. Don't know why it's called a lamp display. I guess maybe you can fit a lamp. But anyways, it was $36. It was absolutely beautiful. It reminded me of the French country vibe that we're all loving so much. And I knew I have thrifted something that looks similar to that. And sure enough, I come over here because you guys know I got my own thrift store, and I saw these. $4.99. These things are made of like concrete. I don't know. They are so heavy. I'm like, do you put a candle in there or a candle up top? Hank is being nosy. But these are gorgeous, you guys. And $4.99, it is a little bit smaller, but even if I calculated both of them, that would be $10 for 2 of these versus the $36 for the one riser on Antique Farmhouse. And to be honest, I kind of like these stone ones a little bit more, and I could use them in multiple places. So that was a really easy do. I saw this and I was like, no way. $34 for this. I found almost the exact same one at the thrift store. This baby was $2.99. And I was like, this is so outdated. I'm going to probably take it apart and do something different. And then I saw that and I was like, maybe it's not outdated after all. So we just have to fix this with some paint. To be honest, it was very grungy and yellow. And I wanted to bring that bright white back that we saw in the dupe image. So I am taking that JRV cottage color in linen white. This has a built-in sealer. So I was trying to take out an additional step if I was able to. So I painted the entire box with 2 coats of the white linen, the front and the back. Now to get that rust feature back, I am going to dip into liquid patina. This is also a product where I'm not going to have to clear it with Big Top or wax. It is almost like a top coat. So all I'm going to do is dab this on, and it was very easy because the little rust spots from before were almost kind of like engraved in. So I had a nice guide for that. As I'm putting that dark and decrepit liquid patina on, I'm going to get a paper towel and just dab it back so it didn't look like I was painting it on. And liquid patina dries very fast. So you want to make sure that you're working in sections and that you're wiping back as you are painting it on. Once I was done with that, I wanted the back side to look similar. In the original box, it wasn't really like rusted like the front is, but I liked some cohesiveness. So I just added some random little rust spots to the back. And again, I did not have to put any clear coat on this. So again, here is how it turned out. I can't, the things that we think are outdated, I guess they come back. I could not believe that I saw this for $34 on Antique Farmhouse. I was shook. So we just updated it with some paint, brought it back to life, and then showing you the side by side of this, you guys, $3. $3. And theirs is $34. Yes. I just wanted to remind you guys, if you are interested in any of today's products, I do have a website. I always keep that link down in the description box for you. I sell DIY paints, decoupage papers, IOD, thrifted finds. I got a little bit of everything for everyone on this website. All right. Next one. This one's an easy because it's an exact dupe. So I have been wanting one of these wood sugar molds for I don't know how long. However, the price tickets on some of these are insane. Antique Farmhouses is actually pretty good at $42, but they can go upwards to like $80 or more. Or more. Sorry, I said R. But you guys, garage sale this weekend, this past weekend, look at what I found. 12 holes in there. This thing is so heavy. It's in perfect condition. And I got it for a steal of $10. I snatched this thing up right away, displayed it on my island, and look how gorga. Oh my gosh, I saved $32 by just hunting some garage sales down. And if you guys cannot hear it in my voice, it makes me excited. If you guys are enjoying this video, will you please make sure to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button, because it really is a free way of helping my channel. Thank you guys so much. So look at that. Makes me so happy. I can't believe it's stunning. All right, next one we're going to DIY. So this was Ornate plate riser, and there was one of each. So you got two of them for $118. And right away, I was like, these are beautiful. I need to recreate them because I can sell these in my booth and obviously use them to display things. So we're going to go into the garage again. And my first vision was this one right here. It reminded me of the taller riser in the picture. That was $4.99 from Savers. And then for the shorter one, I wanted to grab this metallic one. That one, the price isn't on there. I think maybe I paid $3.99 for it. But we also need the tops to it. So here's my little wood pile. I knew that I had thrifted like a cutting board. Well, here's a Lazy Susan. I'm going to attempt to use that for the top of the larger one because the round is a lot bigger. And then when I was in Utah and was thrifting, I found a cutting board, and I knew that I could probably use that on the smaller one. So let me show you how we are going to dupe the antique farmhouse ones. We are going to start by taking these outside, and I wanted to show you just how beautiful the day is. It is so, look at my willow tree. Okay, so we are going to take shellac. This is clear shellac, and you could get this at any hardware store, and it is going to block any stains. It blocks odors, and it's non-toxic and hypoallergenic. I will either use this or my DIY Salvation Solution wood blocker whenever I paint something, especially a light color. But when I'm doing details, I prefer the spray because it's just way easier, and this stuff dries really fast. So after I coat all that, for our smaller riser and our bigger one, we are going to go in with the new JRV Cottage color in Crockery. Now, the reason I decided to go with this specific paint versus DIY paint in Faded Burlap or Sandy Blonde was because it has a built-in sealer. And when I distress my white paint back, I do not want to distress it all the way down to this metallic color. I do not want that coming back down. And with DIY paints, they're water soluble. So as I start distressing it down, that would more likely come through. And I don't want that. I just want this color to show. So I did end up doing 2 coats on that one. Now for this one, I started up top and I started like stippling into all of the fine details. And then as I started going down towards the bottom of this candle holder, I was kind of like doing a messy coat. And I was like, you know what? This looks good, because this candle holder was more of like a wood color. And I was like, once I distress that vintage linen down, you're going to see the crockery color and that beautiful dark wood color, which in our antique farmhouse inspiration, there are layers that look like are coming off of those risers. So I do that throughout the entire one. And then you guys, I take a baby wipe because the paint is still wet, and I wipe it off the top a little bit, just so the entire candle holder is nice and uniform. So this is how the crockery color looks. It's dried, and you could tell crockery, the cottage colors have a sheen to them because of that built-in sealer, but that's okay. We are going to make it matte. So I'm going to take Vintage Linen by DIY Paints. And remember, y'all, all these paint products are available on my website, unicorndustdesigns.com, and the link is always in the description box. So Vintage Linen is something I've been dipping into a lot. I'm almost out of my 8-ounce sample bottle, and it is the perfect white. So I covered the entire smaller riser with the white. With this one, I went back and I kind of did that messy coat. I did do a little bit more coverage, but I wanted all of those to peek through. Now we're going to wet distress with a baby wipe. Because DIY paints are water soluble, they are reactivated with moisture. So it is so easy and effortless to wet distress projects. And I was already loving this, and you can see that that crockery color is still intact. I am not getting any of that gold metallic color coming through, just that beautiful creamy croc color. So I'm going to continue distressing that down, and then I'm going to clear it with DIY clear wax. If y'all have not tried this wax, it is craft changing. Sorry if you hear my kids thumping around upstairs. And then you guys, we're going to take this epoxy from Gorilla Glue. I saw Zeb on Zami and Zeb's channel use this, and he suggested using it when creating risers because obviously you don't want the two pieces falling apart. So it did recommend to scuff up a slick surface, so that's why I did that with the sanding block. Then you use the syringe, push it down, and you want equal parts in there, and you're going to mix it for 20 seconds. Now there are more directions, so make sure you read your package. And then I'm going to smear this on the top. Now I didn't want to use hot glue. I didn't want to use Gorilla Glue. I want to sell this in my booth, and I want to make it that if this sucker dropped, it is not breaking apart on anybody. So that is why I decided to try this. And let me tell you, those toppers are not going anywhere. Okay, so I added a little bit around the edges and then in the middle. Then I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to put it in the center of that smaller cutting board. And I did sand that cutting board down a little and cleaned it. Now, you guys, this Lazy Susan, $2.99. I take the bottom off, right? And then I go to clean the tag off with Goo Gone. And because of the material that this Lazy Susan was, it sucked it up. I tried staining it. It was not going anywhere. So I grabbed liquid patina, dark and decrepit, and this has covered up water stains in the past for me, so I was like confident this was going to work. So when using liquid patina, it does dry very fast. So work in sections, I apply it, and then I'll get a paper towel and I will wipe the excess off. Now, while that is drying, I'm going to take my candle holder and I'm going to fill the top of it with hot glue. And if y'all are like, what are you doing, crazy lady? Well, this candle holder dips down so you can put a candle in it. And if I were to stick that wood round on top of the candle, it would only be sticking to that thin rim that's peeking out of the top. That wasn't going to hold anything. So I decided I was going to fill it with hot glue. I know I could probably use resin, but resin has a tendency of kind of like bubbling up on the back if you don't pour like the exact right measurement. So with the hot glue, I felt I had more control because I could pat it down and level it out. So this was my way of doing it. And then you guys, I'm going to take that epoxy again, adhere them, and then you want to put something weighted on top of them while they are drying. And this is how our dupes turned out. So Antique Farmhouse had 2 for $118. We did 2 for $16. That's including the paint products that I put on here. So we got these. I mean, for dirt cheap. I mean, if you guys are bougie on a budget like me, then like things like this make me so happy that I can look and get inspired by something online. It might be out of my budget, but if you're willing to hunt at thrift stores or garage sales, you can definitely get the look for less, because let me tell you, these are beautiful. Those candles, the Wilton candles, are still available on my website. So are those lavender beautiful pieces. All right. So I found these. These are 3 for $49. An Antique Farmhouse, I have to say, does have some really good prices, but there's still prices that I can't afford. So we are going to try and find something similar to these. I love the engraving on here. You guys know I love some wood. So I was certain that there was something in my garage that looked similar to this. And I found these candle holders. Come on, girl, look up, up, up. You got to keep traveling in this garage. And there they are. So not a dupe, but the engraving that's on these is absolutely stunning. They were handmade in Thailand, and these are heavy. They're actually not wood. They are some kind of glass, ceramic. I don't know, but they are so beautiful. So I just cleaned those up, took that wax off, styled them. I think they could do with some shorter candles though. And these are so beautiful, and nobody would ever know that I spent only $8 on the pair of these 2 candles. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this dupe versus thrift video. And if you want more, next dupe, I found these faux flowers for $39. Oh my gosh, did you hear my voice crack? That's how shocked I was. So you guys, I mean, our Dollar Tree fan, you know these. You probably have them in your stash. Well, I only had 3, so I couldn't do 4. But these the lettering on these, you can just take a razor blade and scratch these off. I wanted to make sure I did this because, one, I didn't want to have to do multiple coats over this black to try and cover it up. And 2, it's kind of like, whatever this is, a sticker, a laminate, it like lines around the lettering and it would have shown through my paint. So I scraped all of them off, and then I'm going to grab crinoline. And crinoline, for those of you that use Waverly, is compared to like cashew, except it doesn't have that crazy yellow undertone to it. It is just a soft, creamy, beautiful white. So I'm going to do my messy coat as usual. I even painted the inside of these as well. For our second coat, y'all know the drill. I'm going to be stippling that paint on to get rid of all of those brush strokes. Now, to get the rust spots on these, we are going to go in with layered chocolate, which is a yummy deep brown. And I am going to start off on the bottom. Now, in the dupe photo, these rust little spots, almost like enamel, these were not like orange or like that kind of rusty. They were a dark brown. So I am just taking this little detailed brush. You guys could get these at Dollar Tree. And I am just going lightly over the curves, trying to keep in theme with how the dupe looked. I'm going to go up on the top of the picture, and then I'm also going to make sure to get the inside little rim of that, and I'm going to let that brush kind of, is the right word, maybe like feather out, because the little wispies almost make it look like the rust is spreading through the picture. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? And just a tip, start your rust spots from the bottom. And I mean like under the item, and paint upwards. That way it looks more realistic, you know, like if a picture was sitting on water, how that rust is going to eat it from the bottom upwards. yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. All right, and because I cannot stand when I buy pitchers and planters from the thrift store and they have foam glued in them, I decided to take these Dollar Tree florals and just set them in the pitchers. I'm going to try to sell them like that on my website. And then if they don't sell on the website, I will have to glue foam in there in order to sell them on in my booth. Because I feel like if I don't like actually stick them in foam and put them in my booth, people are gonna think like, why are these flowers just falling out? But I like people to have the option to do different things with them. Like somebody might want to use one of these to put pins on their desk or use them for coffee stir sticks or whatever it is. I want people to have options instead of making such a permanent decision. Okay. All right. So after that, you guys, I did clear them with clear wax. I personally love them matte. I did not want them in the glossy finish like the dupe photo. So my bad. But these turned out so good. I tried to keep in with the theme of the colors of the florals that they used in their image, but these actually turned out to be one of my favorites. And here is a side by side. We spent about $6 on these, including the florals, and our dupe was $39. This one, we are going to do a little upcycle. So this hurricane holder is $42, and that's just for one of them, you guys. Only one of them. It's beautiful, and I feel like last week when I went thrifting, I had found something very similar. So sure enough, I go over to my other shelf on the other side of the garage and look at what I find. Look at those. If that is not a dupe, I don't know what is. I mean, is it exactly like? No, it is not. But look at that price tag. So $10 versus $42 for one. So I want to try and lighten these up. So I take that Easy Off stove cleaner. I spray it all over. I let it set for probably like 10 minutes. Now I have used this technique before, so I was pretty darn confident coming into this. Well, y'all, I went back outside. I started scrubbing and nothing was happening. This is a messy, messy job using this stuff, but nothing was coming off of it. Nothing at all. So I take it inside. I rinse it all off, still didn't even do anything. So I decide I'm going to take bleach and I'm going to do the bleaching method. This is probably like 90% bleach, 10% water. And I let those sit for a while too, you guys. And again, I'm like, this is bleach. It has to work. Well, I don't know what material was in here, but it did not. So then I get my faded burlap and I get a baby wipe. I rub it on and it doesn't look like much now, but look at when it starts drying down, it looks like that weathered white wash. Look at that. That is what I was going for using those other methods. So I continue to do that. However, you guys, when I put my clear wax on, it totally took away that brightness of the white. I don't know why. I think it was just the material these bases were. There's still a little bit left, but this is how they turned out. So you can see they're a little bit more lighter, and we got 2 of these for $10, and one of them on Antique Farmhouse was $42. So this was definitely a steal. I think this is a very close dupe to the Antique Farmhouse. And if you guys want to see more Antique Farmhouse dupes, then make sure you comment Antique Farmhouse in the comments section. This one is gorgeous, and it's a galvanized black pitcher vase for $29. And we are going to dupe it for hardly anything, and it's going to be so easy. So this was $3.99, and I'm almost positive I got it 50% off. And I am going to go in with black velvet. So black velvet is almost going to be like I don't know why my voice is cracking so much, charcoal black color. In the dupe photo, it was not a stark, bright black. It was definitely looked almost like faded, tarnished. So that is why I chose to use the black velvet. We do have like a black, which is little black dress, but this one was definitely a dupe for our photo. So after I did my usual messy coat, I'm also going to do the inside lip of this picture as well. And then y'all know the drill by now. We are going to stipple that second layer on, making sure that we get full coverage over the galvanized metal and our brush strokes. Now I finished all of the projects off with DIY clear wax. I loved the matte look on the 3 projects that we used the clay-based paint on. So I wanted to keep it that way. So I decided to use the DIY clear wax. If you do want a glossier looking finish, you would use Big Top. But you guys, this looks so good. I just stuck some fern picks from Dollar Tree in this picture. I am so surprised I don't decorate more with black because this just looks so sleek. Like the bright greenery against the white. I love this. And we spent with the greenery about $6 on this, and the dupe from Antique Farmhouse was $29. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope it inspired you and taught you that you can take thrifted items and dupe these high-end home decor pieces for next to nothing. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and follow me on all social media platforms so you could get to know me a little more.